Hi, good morning, everyone. Today is December 3rd, Thursday in the morning before the bell is still away, about hour and 30 minutes before the bell started. I want to give you a quick market recap yesterday and things to know for today and the status and what I think about how the market goes today. I'm trying to, for educational purposes, this is the second day I'm testing this. So I'm going to put a screen up for the English of my script. And so the people then in the Chinese platform have an opportunity to learn while going through the English. I do realize I speak kind of fast, so I'm going to slow down a little bit today. So the video may be a little longer than what it should be, since I have explained it previously in my video that I know people are very busy in America. I'm trying to shorten the time and give them the most fruitful information as quickly as possible. At the same time, I think it was clear and loud enough to make people hear what I want to say and get into my point across. Any feedback is welcome. If you have trouble understanding and reading the numbers, you want to look at some graph and wherever, I can try to apply and add on that. But do note that because in order to do this and before the market open, so you get the information earlier and as much as possible, I have to prepare it. Basically mean I have to get up 2 hours earlier and beat the clock of the market to prepare for all this information. So anything I wasn't covered up, for example, I don't know at this point. I don't know what is the unemployment initial jobless claim number yet today, but it should have already came out. So I wasn't getting opportunity to research it, but I'll cover a next day P market to capture the recap. That's one of the reasons why we're doing the recap every morning before going to the futures and also what looks like today for today. The market was started with major index being wet, but U.S. stocks mostly finished higher on Wednesday, as there may be another hope for stimulus. Instead of an original 2.4 trillion package, it trimmed down to 908 billion for various initiatives, including expanded unemployment benefits, which hopefully it will get extended since I really wasn't classified as those the one that Trump or Republicans worry about. And I've been looking for jobs, even with the COVID, which you can do online, obviously. But you're really having a lot of difficulty because company really have a drawback with budget cut or laying more people off, and obviously they will have the following 2021 budget. But given the uncertainty of whatever, or probably the number that was made at the time before the vaccine news come out, they may actually will ask to revise the budget in the future, next month and actually beginning of the year. So, and also we are experiencing going through the December holiday season, even though a lot of people probably not going to travel in this holiday, and therefore I heard and read article that actually a lot of company end up to paying holiday paid this year because of that. But regardless, I mean that just I'm just trying to get a point across and saying, okay, maybe unemployment number will be better today, but last 2 weeks have been really bad, worse than forecast. Is also which indicated the market have been slowing down, despite the stock market continued to rally because that obviously there's a disconnect between what happening right now in the market versus the reality of the economy. And what happened is people analysts will tell you that is 6 months ahead of the curve right now. So they're thinking about what happened next year if the vaccine is available at the end of December for 20 million people, which will continue and project and forecasting that maybe by next year June or September later probably, or pretty much it will be available to all Americans. So I mean that forecasting, and also there was a great news yesterday that American Airlines stock were up because they said at the end of this month, which is end of December, the the MAX 737 from Boeing will start to launch again. So they will have a first flight flying again next year. So that news actually triggering Boeing. Well, regardless, maybe Boeing actually stock go higher as well. So oil's up slightly to $45 level in anticipation of possible extension of supply cut. The dollar expanded a decline to a third day. The greenback reached a new 30-month low, its lowest since April 24, 2018. Also, I never say this before. For people who are domestically live in America, maybe they don't care. They don't trade. They don't do foreign currency. But what happened right now is U.S. dollars also decline against other currency. Well, some of the rate could be as aggressive as close to 10%, depending on this dollar index. So what I meant is, hey, if I have to do, trade with China doing business, right, or Canada, um, potentially you could have pay more now in order to get the goods you need, right? So it seems to me like in my case, it's like, okay, if I have something need to do in China, you know, then actually I'm actually look like more poor now because I used to be using a dollar. The best point I can change renminbi, which is China's currency, for $7.05. And lately, I think I haven't done one recently, but last month, $6.50. So you see the decline is 55 cents, which is what, close to 10%. So even though despite, yeah, for domestic use, US dollars may not be matter, but a lot of time, even, still you buy a lot of things made from China. So what does that mean to Americans really? Meaning you are potential paying the price higher now, cost higher for those producers or the retailer or whoever sell the stuff to you in US store, charge you more because they need to make sure they are maintaining the right profit, right? So that's just why the printing money has been so controversial in America. The U.S. currency deficit is very important because it's really driving, these implications, which we don't really see it. But my mom went to grocery, kept complaining about, telling me that things, grocery are getting more expensive. Why? This is one of the reasons. So part of the thing I want to share that with you is, yeah, I know Powell have been always stressed about, okay, inflation, yeah, we will keep it 2%. What does that mean? What is inflation? What a product you're talking about? Well, it's very important. You have to go and look at the consumer price index. You look at the inflation in America. What are the products they use to calculating that? Why? The thing that you seems to be paying 10% more now than in the past is not part of inflation. So whatever they say didn't lie to you, but apparently they didn't include the things that make sense to most Americans who live here that spend the money every day for their daily life. So something very crucial, important to understand, right? And also construction, housing. Well, why housing prices keep going up? Part of it is the cost also going up. Why? The lumber is going up. That's my understanding, right? Well, where's the lumber coming from, right? May not be in U.S. It could be from other worlds of the world. Well, so then your U.S. dollars is deflating. So yeah, you pay more, right? Okay, next. UK became the first country to approve Pfizer and BioNTech COVID-19 vaccine for emergency use authorization. ADP job report missed expectations on Wednesday, which is yesterday. Salesforce announced a $20.7 billion acquisition of Slack as it looks to better compete against collaborative enterprise software provider like Microsoft. However, the stock was down during intraday as much as 12%. I actually bought some Salesforce at $223 yesterday. Well, which probably actually they gone down to maybe 220 at lowest. I've set another one at 219. I didn't get it. So my point is, I think Salesforce is a good stock, even though right now maybe suffering from acquiring another company that have to pay that much money for it. But Salesforce has a very first of all, the CEO is very ambitious, which is great. You want a company with ambitious, CEO. Second thing is, this CEO doesn't seem to be way out of whack because he seems to be somehow have a way to get into the realistic view of what he share as a vision, which means he is keep growing his revenue. He has been beating the estimation quarter by quarter, which kind of delivering his result, right? Which is his deliverable. So something have to look into it. Well, why Tesla have been people buying the stock because they believe in Elon Musk, right? So sometimes that is where the CEO, why they worth the pay, at least in my opinion. The House late Wednesday approved legislation that will require Chinese companies such as Alibaba, BABA, Simple, Pinduoduo, PDD, NIO, NIO, or XPeng stock that trade in U.S. to submit to U.S. accounting oversight or face delisting. This doesn't seem to be a concern or moment for investors. I know some friends actually dumping China stock because of that worry. Well, again, my if you watch my video before, I said this, right? You are comparing the Amazon versus Alibaba or Tencent, right? And then you look at a Pinduoduo or JD because e-commerce. You look at if you look at the PAC ratio, PE ratio, whatever. I mean, assuming the numbers are correct, because there's a dispute on that. You can, like I said, you can discuss, argue forever on that. So assume they're correct. You will compare the two companies. You will make the argument that Amazon have raised 20 times, but why does China stock not, right? So that's why what part of the value, right? Why some of the fund managers will, that's actually MISC, which is the international fund that requiring buying these type of stock, and China stock were part of the list. Well, really, because it's the value proposition. So again, I would ask the investor to go and take a look, evaluating and comparing the U.S. company versus China company. Again, the assumption is that you got to look at the financial, you got to trust the number, because you can make the argument that, hey, I don't trust the number. Well, so does the U.S. company. There's a lot of companies flaw issues, right? I mean, look at Enron, which many years ago, for those who know what Enron is, I mean, they were really big time, and they actually filed bankruptcy. The stock was started from $5 skyrocketing into $80. The CEO at the time saying, my company was great, my revenue was beating quarter by quarter, I'm doing the right things. Well, yet the next thing you know is they actually commit the fraud and file bankruptcy. So I don't want to be taking it personal, but really I would ask the investor to do the due diligence and take a look at that. And sometimes the number is so big, $1 billion of revenue. Well, can we know right or wrong? We just have to believe it, right? That we have accounting auditor. That's right, what auditing's all about, right? And they will have a very, very smart way to detect and analyzing whether the things are right or not, right? I mean, I was actually doing internal audit not before, and I knew that how we going by mechanics sampling or variance analysis and other ways to make sure that things look right and accurate in the ballpark, right? I mean, not exact transaction. There will be something that may be missing, but at the end of the day, percentage-wise and the accuracy perspective, they are pretty good, darn good, right? And also they are looking at control as well to make sure that things were in compliance, right? I mean, part of it, this I kind of supporting that delete, either you compile that and delist it, but again, there are a lot of challenges because you have to understanding the requirement at beginning, what kind of accounting book they're following, if a translation from one to the other wasn't so straightforward like probably you and me think. It is more complex than that. That's why they hire expert, but sometimes even with expert, there are challenges of doing so. I mean, the treatment of certain things, right? I mean, so, and then speaking of that, then the China EV stock NIO and Xinpeng Motor XPEV and Li Auto, we bounce from sharp early loss and test for their 21-day exponential moving averages. Why is this so important? Because from a technical perspective, it tells you that whether you think the stock will be bullish or not, there's some resisting points. So I'll give you an example. Yesterday, XPEV actually in the morning was dropped as sharp as $46 from $52, right? So I put a position 47. I got it lucky enough. And then soon enough, it rebound, right? And my friend actually, because I'm trying to help them out, and asked me, should I buy the stock or not? I actually the day before kind of told her this is the deal, you want to set it up. This is the resistance point. So sure enough, you test the resistance point, $48, and my analysis given that, and then he actually surely rebounded to 56 again in the morning, as far as I know. That's where they close it, and the XPEV. Li will also further issue new stock offering. I don't want to price this. I probably have to do research and get back on the next review on that one. On the clouding and technical space, Snowflake stock fell after reporting wider than expected loss in its first earning report since its September IPO, but CrowdStrike stock and Zscaler jumped. Splunk earning came in as disappointing, missing both top and bottom line that have estimated. EPA earning per share was much higher than previous quarter, but still at a loss. And revenue is also 67 million higher than previous quarter, but still, when the investor look at it, thinking these numbers not looking that great, so stock trade almost 20% lower after the hours yesterday. So I don't know what it's going to look like today. Maybe it will rebound. European stocks were down about 0.3%, and Asian stocks were up as much as 0.7%. USP market was mixed with Nasdaq up slightly, with Dow and S&P 500 down a little bit. Well, I looked at that like 15 minutes ago. That was what it looked like, but they were very small, so you could change any minute. And also remember, P market number, not necessarily a good indicator of how it really looks like in the market. Very many times we see the P market have negative, but it actually turn a positive when the market open very quickly within the 15 minutes of the bell. UK Services Purchase Manager Index (PMI) came in at 47.6, which is better than consensus but worse than last reporting. I hope I'm not going too fast. I'm going to slow down this last few one so people can follow it. For those who learn English. Tesla jumped after Goldman Sachs upgraded its stock. I don't know what the P market is. I couldn't see it, but hopefully it will be a good going up, because yesterday it was, actually lower back to $566 from a 540 open, which is actually up, but compared to 607 after they got admitted to Nasdaq 500. It was a big differences. I actually had a video about how you make $50 a day for Tesla. You can go and follow that video. The EV market makers rating was lifted to buy from neutral, and its price target boosted to 780. Wow, that is the first time I see that number. Wow. Tesla have the long way to go, and I remember the stock was started with very, very small to a few $1,000s. If you take the 780, what you need to remember is this stock has split to 5. So you have to times 5. So we're talking about $3,900 per share before the split. Okay, just do the math. Merck sold its entire stake in Moderna. The biotech firm still holds indirect exposure to Moderna through investments in venture funds. Earnings announcement today. Toronto Dominion Bank, DocuSign, which is one of the very interest of me. Marvell Technology, Kroger, which is good, and see if they will continuously going up because of the pandemic. They really benefit from pandemic. And Ultra Beauty, which is the one that doing the, I think is now doing the connection or cooperation agreement with Target, if I'm not mistaken. Highlights. Continuing jobless claims, the EIA natural gas storage change, and a 4-week Treasury bill option deal. On the pandemic front, American launched a new record, now reporting over 200,000 daily cases and 100,000 hospitalizations. I got this source from IBD, so if this is incorrect, it's not me make up a number. Okay. If you like the video, please give me a subscribe it if not done so, or follow me for the next video. Thank you for your support. And what the prediction today is, the market seems to be still, if you have observed in the past, still have a very high volatility. During the intraday, it could be from positive turns to negative, particularly last day from yesterday talk about stimulus talk. There's some sensitivity about that. Even though the market have been wildly and we are pushing in a new high, which means the stimulus is already part of the equation of modeling into these prices that are still very high. So again, somebody predicted the market will be down 7% S&P by end of the year. So it could be because the stimulus still is off. We still don't know on and off. 900 billion from a 2.4 trillion cut, I think is already very step back. I still remember, when the tweeters, Trump said, hey, after the election, we'll have the greatest and biggest and largest, maybe he didn't say all the 3 words, but one of them, stimulus, but I have not seen in it, right? So I think what we need to do in America sometimes is we need to hold them, politicians, accountable for their works. So I hope it will happen, because it's really, if they will look at the people, look at the job status situation, look at the economy, particularly, I don't know about Christmas spending yet. There's no data come out yet to tell you what they're thinking, the consumer sentiment, whether they're going to spend a lot of money on Christmas still. But I know your people, for those that are poor, have problem paying rent, this is probably the last thing they will think about. So I do hope every person understands this year, this pandemic, this COVID-19 are very troublesome. You make everybody's life very difficult, have a hardship. I hope everybody have an empathy about one another. Trying to ask your friends and relatives and your family, take good care of them, and really chat with them periodically, make sure they're okay, especially for the elder people. I hope that makes the world better. Again, thank you for your support.